All right, so for a probability check, let's just say that this is your action that will check the probability, and then these are your three things that can happen. Basically, you would add the link and you would go to use probability, and then whatever the probability would have, say that you have a 30-30-30 split. So let's just say, or I guess it would actually be a 33-33-33. And so you would need each link to have that 30 probability, except for one of the links needs a 100% probability because it's got to be the one that if nothing else happens, then this happens. So we'll just make this last one be the 100% probability. Now, how links work is the first link that was created, it's going to get ran first. So because this was the first link I created, even right up here, the processing order, it's 0. And because they're all 0, it goes in the order of creation. That's what I meant by that. So because they're all 0, this one is going to run first, this one will run second, and then this one will run last. So this one's going to run a 33% chance. This one's going to run a 33% chance as well, if only if this one fails. And then if this one fails, this one is going to run a 100% chance. So that way you get out of this action. Now, we can actually control these a little bit. Say that we want this one to be ran first. I can just come up to processing order and say 1. And this is going to be now the higher number, the more order. So now this number 2 one will run first. Then this one will because it's 0. And then, or because it's 0 and the first created. Then this one will because it's 0 and it was the last created. So what I like to do with probability is I really like to control my links. So for instance, I will leave, excuse me, the last one at 100% and a 0 probability. Then I'll go to the second to last one and I'll make it a 1. And then I'll go to the first one I want it to run and I'm going to make it a 2. So that way I control them. 2, 1, 0, like that. Now, this is just one of the ways to use probability. And do note that probability is only ran once. So when it gets to this action, the probability is already ran and it won't run again until you leave the action and go back in it. So it's not going to keep continually checking. It's not going to keep refreshing basically and adapting. So this is one way or this is how to use probability. You can also do a switch check. So you could say, have a variable here. And I'm just going to create a new one. I'm going to say if it's equal to 1, then it's going to go to this action. We're also going to change the processing order back to 0. So all of these will be 0 again. And this is just an alternative method. So I'm going to copy paste this check. This one will be the third option. And then this one will be the second option. I kind of went in a weird order there. But yeah, so we got first option, second option, third option. Then what we can do is when we get to this action, we can run a change variable. We can take that newly created variable and then we can say random 1 to 3. So it's going to randomize between 1 and 3. And then with that number, you're going to know where to go. All right, so that's just another alternative if probability is giving you issues, because probability is very specific, has very specific uses sometimes. Okay, so now let's go to movement. All right. Okay, so it sounds like your boss is charging left and you're doing it by seconds. You might have better effect using if you use move object, because move object allows you to have this option here, which is stop actions during movement, which means that it won't let you do anything until the movement is done. It also lets you have some cool things like set timings for the movement to take place instead of timing it with the horizontal movement itself, like the move speeds. So you can click on here and say, okay, 1 second it's going to charge that way, and that stuff. So then you can set it, what direction. So in this case, you said left, and then you could do dot count, which is by tiles. So now you can go based off the tiles. And there's actually some other cool stuff here, but I'm just gonna say we'll just move 2 tiles, which in this project I think is 48 because I think it's a 24 by 24. But and we're gonna move the object self. But the cool thing is that you can actually click OK, and then you can press this changeable even after placement on scene, and then you can go to the scenes tab and you can click it, and then you can actually start changing things right here. So if you put it right here, when I press play, he should move. This chicken should move to right here. So let's test that out. And let's go. And yeah, there you go. It took a second to move there. So now the other cool thing is that you can do set by coordinate. So if you know where it is, you can actually click this scene thing here and you can click on the coordinate. So let's move it up to here. And then if I press play here, it will move up to that corner. So I'm not going to show because I don't know your exact setup, but if you had something like this on your way back, you could also move back and use this setting for that. So anyway, hope this helps, and we'll see you then.